there will be millions of Christians everywhere with hearts full of gratitude who will call you, the people of Dayton, blessed!
It was in the aftermath of the First World War that religious fundamentalism was reignited in America, and it brought men like William Jennings Bryan to its ranks. The shock of that brutal conflict and the perceived breakdown of traditional values created a search for causes, for reasons. And among conservative Christians, one of the main targets was Darwin's theory of evolution. By 1925, Bryan was leading a formidable movement, using state legislation to prevent the teaching of evolution across the nation. Tennessee was the first to pass such an act, introduced by farmer Senator John Butler.
It should be unlawful for any teacher in any of the universities, normals, and all other public schools in the state of Tennessee to teach any theory that denies the story of the divine creation of man as taught in the Bible, and to teach instead that man has descended from a lower order of animals.
Now, that was known as the Butler Act, and it was passed by the Tennessee legislature on March 21st, 1925. The fundamentalists cheered. The American Civil Liberties Union, however, saw it as a threat to the Constitution and decided to mount a test case. They advertised throughout Tennessee for a teacher who would challenge the new law. And this is where the little town of Dayton got involved. An attractive and once prosperous iron and coal mining town with 11 churches serving only 1,800 inhabitants. Dayton had fallen on hard times and was desperately looking to better itself. So they turned to a popular science teacher by the name of John Thomas Scopes.
On May 5th, a group of local businessmen met with me in Frank Robinson's drugstore and soda fountain. Morning, Mr. Robinson.
John.
Mr. White.
John.
Frank Robinson handed me the Chattanooga News, where the American Civil Liberties Union was offering to pay the expenses of anyone willing to test the constitutionality of the Butler Act.
It's an opportunity to put this little town back on the map.
John, we need a volunteer.
Well, I knew that sooner or later someone would have to take a stand against the stifling of freedom the Butler Act represented. Sure, I'll volunteer, provided you can prove I've taught evolution.
Well, you filled in as a biology teacher when the principal was sick, didn't you?
Didn't you cover evolution?
To tell the truth, I wasn't sure I had. But Robinson and the others weren't concerned about this technicality. I had expressed a willingness to stand trial, and that was enough. Frank walked over to the phone and called the Chattanooga News.
This is F.E. Robinson in Dayton. I'm chairman of the school board here. We just arrested a man for teaching evolution. What do you think about that?
In fact, John Scopes had defined the sheriff to get himself arrested. And after that, he returned to playing tennis. Robinson then sent a cable to the American Civil Liberties Union, and there was a prompt reply.
We will cooperate Scopes' case with financial aid, legal advice, and publicity.
Frank, we're in business.
As intended, the trial became national news almost immediately, and the giants of both the liberal and fundamentalist causes came and answered the call to battle. The first to step up to the plate was William Jennings Bryan. He had been Woodrow Wilson's Secretary of State and three-time presidential candidate. But now, with his political career in decline, he had attached himself to a variety of causes, and by 1925, he had found fame as a leader of the fundamentalists. Although renowned as a preacher and great orator, there were many who were put off by his messianic approach. Back in Nebraska, his home state, he was described as
like the River Platte, a mile wide at the mouth, but only 6 inches deep.
Bryan's involvement in the trial galvanized another great American to join the fray. The country's most famous criminal lawyer and one of its most public agnostics, Mr. Clarence Darrow.
I was in New York when I saw that Mr. Bryan had volunteered to assist in the prosecution. At once, I